It's that time again where we try out another format to cover more recent games on Second Wind. We love Bytesized, but with all the things we're always working on, it's hard to commit to fully reviewing so many different games. So this time, my focus is on getting back to the basics of introducing you to games you may not have heard of before, explaining what I like or don't like about them, and noting whether or not I intend to continue playing them. When thinking about how we can cover more games without overworking ourselves, this was the question I kept coming back to. Did I enjoy my time with the game enough after a few hours to keep playing? It's something I think every gamer with an overflowing backlog can relate to in 2026. It's been a hot minute since I've been engrossed in a city builder, but the initial announcement trailer for Corsair Cove, developed by Limbic Entertainment, immediately caught my attention for its unique premise, a city builder based around pirates. Until I got my hands on it directly, I wasn't entirely sure what to expect from the game, but it didn't take long for the tutorial to hook me. It's an immediately pleasing game to look at for sure, as you build up your pirate haven with rickety bridges spinning across treacherous cliffsides. But what actually ended up surprising me was the amount of depth in the game. It's not just a city builder or factory game, but essentially a pirate RPG that allows you to take on a variety of quests and make decisions around moral dilemmas in the story campaign to determine what kind of pirate you want to be. Do you want to build a sprawling empire, focus on accumulating riches, or terrorize the seas through power? All these different avenues unlock points on a massive skill tree that grant you new ships, perks for your captains, buildings, and resources. There's even a search bar at the top of it like you'd find in an ARPG skill tree. Even more interesting is how the game handles events and battles with a dice and card system. It's not as fun as ships blowing each other up to smithereens in real time, of course, but it adds a mini strategy game to the mix, which does help to break things up a little bit. I think this will be the most hit-or-miss aspect of those interested in Corsair Cove, as it's a unique idea but feels a little underdeveloped in action. It's explained well enough in the tutorial, but the randomized dice rolls are more frustrating than fun, as you do stand to lose a lot of important resources if the rolls don't go your way. And that's the point, of course. As a pirate, you're constantly gambling. I'm just not sure the way they've implemented it translates well to gameplay. I most certainly want to keep playing Corsair Cove. I mean, what's not to love about building a massive pirate fortress? The unlock system is always giving you something to work towards, while you're also managing the many, sometimes very annoying, needs of your pirate denizens, building up a more and more complex haven, and doing your best to streamline production and the movement of resources. There's a lot to take in as you play through the game's tutorial in opening hours, but it does a good job of easing you into its many systems before throwing you into the deep end. I honestly don't think I've ever played a city builder for its campaign before, as I tend to stick to the sandbox mode, so the fact that Corsair Cove has hooked me so quickly has been a big surprise to me. Corsair Cove will be available on Steam and PC Game Pass on July 31st. Fading Echo is the debut game from Immateria, a new independent studio based out of France. This one caught my eye when it was revealed because of the clear inspiration from the Splatoon series. However, in practice, it's much more a traditional action-adventure game that draws from the lower-budget titles of the 360 PS3 generation. You set out as one, on an adventure to fix a world that's falling apart by reconnecting the Source, which will eventually trigger a reset of the world, clearing it of its corruption. It's a simple enough objective, but the game didn't really do much at the start to get me interested in the story. It just kind of began and then started exposition dumping very quickly. The core of the game is its element system that affects both combat and platforming. For example, you can become a blob of water that's very reminiscent of how you get around in the Splatoon series. In Fading Echo, different elements like water, fire, and toxic can be combined to counter enemies of those same elements and tackle different platforming challenges. There's a genuine charm to the visuals and world of the game that drew me in initially, but unfortunately, after a couple hours, this one hasn't quite clicked for me. The platforming is easily the best part of the game as you mix and match the different elements to get around, but as for the combat, adding new abilities over time is very one-note and not really all that fun. The limited amount of enemies have a very limited animation movesets, so while you have a lot of movement and ability options, you never really feel the need to use them. The game also gives you a powerful kick you can just spam to knock enemies off the edge in a lot of areas, completely negating the need to even engage with a lot of its systems. But I could have looked past the combat if it wasn't for the writing. Oh man. The writing in this one is like listening to a book of quips for dummies. It's the kind of constant sarcastic dialogue that people cannot stand these days, and for the few hours I played Fading Echo, it never stopped. The voice cast of the game is great, but the incessant one-liners just aren't funny. I'm disappointed that Fading Echo didn't click for me as the initial trailers looked promising, but I just wasn't at all interested in the world or its overly talkative characters. Fading Echo is available now on Steam for $19.99.